Hey everybody, Kelly here from the farm on Highway J. So it's been a busy couple of weeks. I've been working on all kinds of projects, getting over some sickness. Obviously, still have to work, etc. So mostly today I've got a lot of cross-stitching projects that I want to show. But first, let's go over some quilting. So, as you notice behind me, if you have seen my recent couple of videos, you notice the background has changed a little bit. You might have seen this in a couple videos before, but the two snowman panels that I had up here and had done different borders around each, they were same panel but color variant of each other. And so I had done different borders around the panels. Those two quilts are actually over to the side here. That's why I'm kind of looking that way. One of them actually is sandwiched already and it's ready to get quilted. I just, the last week or so, have not physically been up to getting it quilted and, on my little domestic. I just don't have the capacity right now to have physically quilted on them. And so I do have it sandwiched. I am ready to go. I think in the next week or two I'll have at least one of them done. And then the other one, hopefully I'll get sandwiched at least, even if I don't get it quilted yet. So I took your guys' suggestions on the most recent video, and I maybe took it, I maybe tweaked them a little bit, and yeah, so you'll see that in one of my upcoming videos. But this one right behind me here, I actually need a little help on it as well. So I haven't decided whether I want to use the scrap pieces to the side here, which I guess it's not really a scrap. It's probably a yard. I haven't decided if I want to use that and border this and just do a wall hanging, or if I want to actually cut this up and do something a little different. So I think if I cut it up, what I would probably do is actually make hot pads out of the two corner pieces, and then maybe like the top and bottom one here would be like a casserole dish size hot pad. I just think they would be really cute and just adorable for Christmas time. So, and then the centerpiece here, then I would probably just keep that for a wall hanging. But I really kind of think I might just keep it all together. I don't know. I keep going back and forth. I need some help. So give me some comments and let me know what you think, what you would do with it. Yeah, I'm a kind of 50-50 right now on whether I do one or the other. So let me know. Quilting wise, my other plans coming up are to actually work on, okay, let me back up. So Fat Quarter Shop each year does a charity quilt along to raise funds for Make-A-Wish Foundation of, I believe it's South Central Texas, I'm not sure, for Make-A-Wish Foundation. And I've participated in that since, I think, like 2019. And I haven't necessarily got all the quilts finished though. If you've watched for a while, you know from last year that I talked about this a little bit, that I was not only completing last year's quilt, which suddenly the name evades me. It was by Sherry and Chelsea. I don't know why the name is Moonbeams. Last year's quilt was Moonbeams. And I also completed the Heartfelt quilt at the same time, which I think was from, was it 23 or 21? Suddenly I don't remember. But anyhow, so I completed both of those last year. And then I still have two kits, both of them I believe by Corey Yoder, from, I know one's 20, did I just say I could? Okay, so I don't remember what years. I have two of them left still from between 2020 and now that I haven't got finished. And so, or started even. And so my plan this year is to go ahead and do both of those as block of the months throughout this year. So Fat Quarter Shop actually has a new charity quilt this year. I like it, but it is very, very beginner friendly. So I think rather than buying the kit this year, I may potentially follow along and do that one as a block of the month as well, using my own fabrics, and I will still make the contribution to Make-A-Wish Foundation, and not just for the pattern, but just a donation. And so yeah, I just think, honestly, I could buy their kit, but it seems so beginner friendly, which is really nice. It's good of them to kind of go back and it's sort of a restart kind of thing, so that more people who maybe aren't as intermediate or advanced can also participate. So I really like that. But I just don't necessarily see that I need the kit. So, because I've got tons of stash here. So that's my plans right now. That's my thoughts anyhow on the quilting. And since I have those two other ones, and like I said, I may go ahead and do this year's as well from my own stash, but I will definitely do the donation again still. And so hopefully in the next couple of months, I can't remember when they're set to start, probably March. So I'll have to verify that, and next time I come back, it'll probably be more of a totally quilting focused video, and we'll go over that. But anyhow, so, and I would show you those two quilts that I have the kits for, but unfortunately my camera is sitting on top of it, so next time. Alright, so on to some stitching. And I've got quite a bit here, because I think my last video was also more about the quilting. But anyhow, some of this I might have to put pictures up here, but I've got most of it right here with me. So, two of the first projects that I've been working on for stitching since Christmas time were actually both of them by Cottage Garden samplings. The reindeer, so that's the pattern there, and this is how far I have gotten on it. Hopefully you can see. So I still have quite a bit of fill in here, and then the little bush down here, a tree, and the house. So I made a mistake somewhere in this pattern here, and it caused my horns to actually be, I believe they're in a little bit from the side, and so I think what I'm going to do is actually finish the deer in the little cabin there, and then I may have to do away with that tree on the side, just because if the horns come in a little bit on this pattern, you'll see that they could actually line up with where the hooves are here, but the tree would be still like an extra thing there. So I may just do away with that tree and put some other little snowflakes or something in there. We'll see when I get to it, which I'm not going to get to it now until next winter, basically. I think I'm going to go ahead and put this one away in the bag to work up, to continue on next winter. And the other item that I have in here, which actually should have probably been my first one, because I was working on it right around Christmas and right after Christmas, is called Santa's House from Cottage Garden Samplings as well. And so on that one, they actually used more of a gray background, or gray fabric in this one. I think it was on Prehistoric Linen by Fox and Rabbit. But I picked the blue for the reindeer, and I just really liked it for the Santa's house as well. So this is how far I've gotten on it. As you can see, I haven't finished the roof on the house. I am not going to do that part of the roof until I get all the snowflakes in and the red highlights in it and all that, and then I can go through and just do the gray as like a block stitching, because I'll have all the snowflakes done. And I still have my frame, still have my sleigh, still have the deer to do. So it seems like a lot because I got most of this, the house portion here, but there's still quite a bit to do. One thing I will say on this is that I didn't use some of the, I believe it's Classic Colorworks threads that were called for, and I can really tell the difference. There is not very much variegation. My candies don't stand out as much as they did, and so that's what all these little pieces, they're little candies. They don't stand out as much as they did in the pattern, but I still like it. Also, I made a little boo-boo, and my windows are one stitch up from where they're supposed to be, so then my candies went one stitch up from where they're supposed to be, but I just fudged it and kept going. Always forward, so. Alright, and there are times that, you know, a little bit of unstitching is okay, but mostly I like to move on, and it won't bother me. It doesn't bother me to tell you that either, that I made a boo-boo and I fixed it the best that I could, and I like it just fine. So, alright, so this one's going to get put away. This is in my really Christmassy bag. It's got a little pin that I pinned on the front there. And then this was a little pin that I made into a needle minder, but it's actually holding my scissors in there in place so that they don't hit anything or anything, because I don't have a little case on them. So, alright, we'll put that one aside. The next one I've been working on, and actually I think this was really the one that I had set up for being first, was from the Blue Flower. It's the Festive Forest. It's not really a biscornu, but of that style. I think we were all calling it like a muffin. It's supposed to have two more panels like this over here. I think we talked about it a little bit before, and I've just been filling in on it a little more. Hopefully the next time you see this next year, there'll be a lot more done. But it's going away for right now, so I just wanted to show it again. So that actually lives in this little bag that I made using some fabrics that were left over from the last quilt that I did, that snowman panel quilt. And these were some fabrics that were around it too, and these were just some that I had left over from I think it was a Valentine's project actually, but I just thought that made it a cute little bag for holding all my threads and whatnot. Alright, so those are getting ready to go to sleep for a little bit until next winter. This one right here is also a cottage garden samplings. I think we can tell that I like their stuff. And it's called Barn Owl. And so I started working on that just a little bit. This is on fabric that I dyed myself. And it's just a, I think 32 count, maybe a 36. And so I've just got the face mostly right now and a tiny little bit of the tree branch on the side there. But this is one that I will continue on throughout the year, just kind of picking up here and there. And it's actually just in a bag that I think I got from Fat Quarter Shop. And I've got a little, see if you can see it, a little owl pin stuck in there so that I definitely remember that that's what's in here. So, alright, set that aside over here. Next one looks kind of scary because I haven't got his eyes in yet. But it's called Nordic Moose. This is a free pattern on the Zweigart website. And I just thought he was cute, so I went ahead and started stitching him. So they did him on I'm not sure what fabric. It's more of a blue fabric. I don't think they have it written in here. No. So they did it more on a blue fabric. I chose to do a little bit more of a green one that I dyed myself. I didn't dye it specifically for this project. I just already had it that color and I just picked it out for this one. The fact that the trees are blue, I maybe should have gone ahead and gone with more of a gray fabric, or I should have gone ahead and changed my trees to a green. But I really like him. I think he's cute. One thing I will say is I believe the colors on this sheet are pretty true, and I think he was quite a bit more brown than what the DMCs are coming out for me, because he looks very, very dark. But he's alright. He'll be okay. So, and that one lives in this bag right here that I made just using a couple of panels, just some red and white trucks. He's in there with my Yule Goddess stitch, and this was one that I plan on starting this spring from Owl Forest Embroidery called Starlings. So I'll continue working on the moose until I feel like working on this one. Alright, so put that aside. Next thing has been, I've been working on some of the stitches from the Nashville cookbook, just because Nashville Needle Market is coming up, and so there is already available for pre-order a new Nashville cookbook, which I understand from Lindy Stitches that there are 52 patterns charts in that book. So that's going to be a lot, and so I've been trying to get done with some of the stitches that I had picked out from last year. Last year's, I believe, had 46 or 47 patterns in it. I picked out 4 immediately, and I've got 4 done, but there's a ton more that I want to do out of that. So I just keep it in this bag right here. Got a couple of hoops, all kinds of different smaller pieces of fabric, threads for all the ones that I knew I was wanting to do, and obviously I can kit up more threads for the ones that I still want to do, but and I'd show you the ones that I have done already, but they're kind of well, I think I said 4, but I did 5. 3 of them are kind of scattered already, and 2 of them I have here, and I will show you right now. So this one is, I believe, from Sherry Colorado Cross Stitcher. Yes, Sherry Colorado Cross Stitcher, and it's where flowers bloom, so does hope. And I'm just going to turn that into a cute little pillow. I thought I had a small frame that it would fit in, but I can't find it, so I believe it's just going to be a cute little pillow. And I'll put it with most of my spring stuff. I don't really want to leave it out year-round, because I've got a couple that I left out for quite a while, and you clean, but things get dusty still. And I just don't want to have a bunch of little pillows that are out all the time that are just getting dusty all the time. So I would prefer to change them out, and I think in that way they'll stay a little bit nicer for longer. And it's not like things get dusty. Like, just, it's better to just leave them out for so long than give it a little dust off and put them away. At least for me, anyhow. So it'll probably go in like a little spring dough bowl and then get tucked away when I put out summer stuff. Because it just doesn't really read very summery to me. And I have a lot of stuff that does. So yeah, spring. Okay, next thing, I'm going to have to put up a picture. And I probably need a comment on this one because I'm going to need some help figuring out what I want to do. So I've got a couple options in this picture here. In fact, I might put up two pictures. First option, just using the frame. I put the frame on and it's a little too big for the top and bottom. There's a little too much fabric at the top and bottom. And so then I thought, well, maybe I should just make a pillow out of it. It's a Teresa Kogut stitch from last year's Nashville needlework book. Happiness is Homemade. And so I thought, okay, so the frame is a little too big for the stitch at the top and the bottom, so I could just make it into a pillow. And I have a jelly roll from Teresa Kogut's fabric line Stitchy Birds, and there's a bird on the cross stitch, so hey, that fabric would be perfect to go with it to make a little pillow. So I can do that. Or I was thinking I could maybe take the frame and put a little piece of rickrack at the bottom of the stitch. I was actually thinking, how could I do a tape measure? It's like stitch in a tape measure. And then I thought, well, I saw that rickrack and thought I could just put that on there. I may also have a small piece of fabric that actually has a tape measure on it, and it's red. So I was thinking about that. So give me a comment, let me know which of those you would choose. Would you make it a pillow? Would you just frame it and forget about there being a little excess space on the top and bottom? Or would you put the rickrack in? Or would you try to find that little piece of fabric that had a ruler on it? I might do that. So, all right, so those are the two that I stitched just these last few weeks from the Happiness is Homemade cookbook from Nashville Needlework Market. Lots of good recipes in here. I expect that there will be a lot of good recipes in the new book. Can't wait to see that and choose some of those stitches. I've got about 5 other things in here that I want to kit up before I get the other book. Might not get them done, but that I would like to work on this spring. So anyhow, that lives right here in this bag, and anytime I want just a small little project, I know exactly which bag to pick and do that. So, okay, next one. This one's going to be a little tough. Okay, so in January, I wanted to pick out something to stitch that so we lost our dog in January, and he was 14, and he was a little black and white dog, just the friendliest little dog. And so anyhow, I was trying to pick out something to stitch kind of that was for him, for him. And so I actually was already looking at some Valentine's patterns, basically. And I had one by Hello from Liz Matthews, which I believe was a freebie chart, but I don't want to show the chart just in case it wasn't. But if you go to her website, Hello from Liz Matthews, I think you'll find this chart. And I've changed it some, just so you know. So again, not going to show the chart, but I will show you the stitch. I am not done with it yet either, but I've changed it some. I believe she had it designed just as red and pink, I think. But I wanted to do black and white. My little dog was a black and white little fella, and so but I wanted to do the heart, and she had 2 little hearts in the hearts that were pink, and so I just went ahead and tried to make them into like a little puppy paw. I think I'm gonna stitch another color over top of those to make it a little bit more variegated and a little more kind of ashy color, like more the color tone of a dog's paw, which their paws are actually pretty variegated. You think that it's mostly black most of the time, but there actually is some tan in their paws. At least my one little one that I was looking at the other night, that's the case. Anyhow, so for the love though, I had this tan thread floss that I couldn't remember what the number was or etc. So I was just kind of trying to use some things too that I had that couldn't remember the number. Need to use this on something. Hey, I'll put it in this. Well, it didn't really work well with the red. It was not highlighted enough. It just, like, I guess you can see on the puppy paw, it just kind of blends in. And so I went ahead and went around it with white. I think it's okay. It's not great, but it's okay enough. And this actually is onyx from Weeks Dye Works, I believe. And so I ran out, so I've got some more on order. It should be here within the next week or so. And I'll get this finished up and get it framed. So, framing. My dad also recently, in the last 2 weeks or so, came across a box that we purchased these when we moved in here, and these were going to be, we were going to change one of the column, well, one of the only column we have in our house. It's a column that has to be there for support, and it when we first moved in, it's like it really did not blend in at all, and so we were trying to think of things to do to change it up to make it look nicer. And what ended up happening was we've actually worked our furniture around it, and it blends in and has probably has a cross stitch on it. Actually, no, I think it's just some decoration anyhow. And so we just left it the way it was. It was fine as long as the furniture worked around it. But we were going to potentially make it into an oak column, and like just changing the outside, and so we ordered these pieces for the top and bottom of it as well. And he has actually gone ahead and glued them together already, but they were supposed to be like you had two pieces and you fit around. So like you would fit this around at the top, or like this basically, that you'd fit this around and the top and bottom, and then that would create some decorative aspect to it. So anyhow, he found those at roughly the same time, and we were talking about whether or not to just, do we get rid of them? Can we repurpose them somehow? What can we do? And so he said, well, I could just glue them together, you know, nice good wood glue, and get them to hold really well, and then we could turn it into a frame. So that's what I'm going to do. So I'm not going to be able to hold it. I'm not going to undo all my stitch here or anything, but basically I'm going to put this one at the back, and then we're going to cover it with this one here. So what I'm going to do on this stitch is actually continue the pattern and get it to fill in that whole circle. So just when I get the thread here, I will just continue that and fill in that hole, because it really is very repetitive, and I know exactly how to stitch it out to make it more of a circle. Sorry if I'm not holding it up high enough. I'm kind of forgetting whether I'm off camera or not. But yeah, so that's kind of that plan. And being that he was a little black and white dog, I've been trying to decide whether to stain this, which you really should, because I believe it's oak. Pretty sure. Dad'll tell me. He's probably screaming at the TV right now. So if it's oak, I really should stain this, but maybe I'll either try to find a stain that I can do somewhat black and white kind of color, like a black piece and a white piece, something like that. Or I'll just stain it. It's fine. It's got nice red floss in there too. And so that might look kind of pretty either way. So anyhow, that's my thoughts on that project. And still continuing on that. So also in this bag I have, so this is my Valentine's mesh bag from Fat Quarter Shop. And some little different blings that I've gotten in different boxes and whatnot. And it just has a lot of different patterns in it and a few fabrics. Most of these were freebie patterns that are somehow Valentine's or love, Mother's Day, Father's Day, that kind of thing. And so that's that. Last thing that I've been working on right now is this. I just got a little while ago. I wasn't really going to do a Valentine stitch this year, but I don't know, I got it. It was sitting there. It was really easy to kit up, so I went ahead and started. It's Stitching with the Housewives, Be My Valentine. And I believe this is fairly recent. I'm not seeing a date on it, but anyhow. And so this is how far I've got so far. Just basically the house. Not even, I haven't even finished filling it in, so. But this was like 2 or 3 afternoons. Like not even afternoons, like an hour and a half. So that shouldn't take too long. And today is what, February 8th, 9th, 8th. The 8th, because the 9th is Super Bowl Sunday. So, and I think I have to work. That worked out for somebody. All right. Anyhow, so that's the latest thing that I've been working on, and next plans are, I'm going to show a picture here for one of the cross stitches that I am going to be working on this year. So last year for my birthday, I was going to do a pattern called Sweet Treats. And I started it, I believe at the beginning of April, and so I thought, well, it's got, I forget how many parts, but how I was going to stitch it all together the way it is, I was going to start with the month of April. And I realized, quickly realized that my fabric was not large enough. So it was fine. I kind of thought that to begin with. And so I just really liked the April month. I liked the whole thing, but I liked the April month portion. And so I kept going on it. As I thought, well, I'll just keep going on this portion of it and turn it into a bag. So that's what I did, and so the picture over here will show the bag. But now I want to go ahead and make the whole thing. So I have a picture here that shows 3 different fabrics. They may not look very different in the picture, unfortunately, but they are, and I need to pick which one I'm going to use to do this pattern. So, and I plan on starting that as soon as I finish this Be My Valentine one, and hopefully working on it a little bit each month. We'll see. It may be an ongoing stitch that is like ongoing like a couple of years, but it just seems like maybe it was not meant to be done fully last year, but is meant to be done this year for my 50th this year. So that's what I'm telling myself anyhow. And so I hope to work on that just a little bit. Maybe I will try and get it to coincide a little bit with working on my block of the months for the Fat Quarter Shop charity quilts. Somehow we'll do that. Maybe we'll have like this weekend is for the quilts and next weekend is for the birthday stitch. Something like that. We'll see. Things change all the time around here, depending on what I want to do. So, okay. The only other thing that I have for this video is I actually have just a little bit of, I'm not going to call it haul because it's not really haul. It's just a couple of items that I bought at a store. So we were up in Minnesota last week, and I got the opportunity in Rochester, Minnesota. I got the opportunity to stop in at Pine Needles Quilt Shop. And if you haven't been there, it was very nice. They have long arms there too. They have machines and long arms. And it was just kind of nice place to stop in, and all kinds of fabrics, etc. And I believe they have a lot of classes too. I didn't necessarily focus on that because I'm not going to be there very much. So, but a couple of items that I got. So, sorry for some crinkling here. All right, first thing, I love Betsy Chuchian Fabrics. I can't say her last name, but Goodnight Irene, 1890 to 1920. So I just think that's very, very pretty charm pack there. So let me see if I can kind of flip through and show some of the fabrics. Maybe. Anyhow, they are just very, very cute. She's very much my style. And then I got Kansas Troubles Quilts, Daisy Lane. Again, very much somebody's whose fabrics I really love. So, and I just got the charm packs because it's I can put something together very pretty and not spend a fortune. So I got this little item on sale. Let me see if I can even get it apart. Uh-oh. Well, I might have to just go ahead and cut it, or let's see. Maybe I can get it here. Alright. So I got this one half price, and I think it's going to be adorable. So it is to make a little booklet. And it's for, basically for Easter. I don't know that they necessarily planned it for Easter, but that's what I'm thinking. Summer gardening too, so. And I got this one on sale as well. It's a Stacy issue. What's the name of it again? Let's see if I can remember. Nope, just a little farm panel. So can't wait to work on these. Oh boy, okay, let's see. You're not going to be able to show all this even. But it's just a cute little farmstead multi-panel. Let's see if I can show more of it here. And I just think that's going to be adorable. So I can't wait to work on that as well. So those are going to go in my smalls projects that I'm going to work on this spring, and the 2 quilts. So, well, and quilting the 2 snowman quilts. So yeah, quilting the 2 snowman quilts, working on this right here, working on all my small projects, and working on the 2 block of the month charity quilt alongs. So I feel like I should add some more things to that list, right? All right. Well, And what doesn't get done this year will get done next year, right? Okay, so these may actually need to get done this year, but like I said, the charity quilts, I've had them for a year or two at least, and they'll keep. So, all right, well, I think that was all I wanted to go over this time. Hope you're having a good January, February. We're having an okay start to February here. We've had a little bit of weather, but not too bad, and temperature's been okay so far. All right. And so hope you have a good weekend and good Valentine's Day coming up. And I will probably see you again toward the end of February. All right. Thanks for watching. Bye.